Welcome to GearCheckGames. This is part 11 of our commentary for Eco. In the last episode, we finally got the gate open and attempted to escape, although our attempt went horribly awry when the bridge started to collapse and Eco, unfortunately, fell down here and was separated from Yorda.
I like...
Somehow survived this fall.
Yeah?
I like that the queen could have, like, caught up to them and tried to stop them at any point, but was like, nah, I'm going to let the security system do it just to add a little insult to injury.
I'm just going to let this play out.
Yeah, she could have acted at any time. And in fact, if you play this game through on New Game Plus mode, and I did look into this a little bit, and view Yorda's translated dialogue and the Queen's, they do imply earlier that Yorda just can't walk out of this castle for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that will, you know, cause her to be harmed if she attempts to leave. And, you know, we saw that with her trying to open the gate and, you know, stumbling across the bridge.
That makes Eco all the more heroic because he's trying anything he can to get her out.
Well, yeah, when she, when he falls down and, like, you know, she thinks that they've failed and she tells him thank you, it's like, did she know all along that this wasn't going to work and she just wanted to help Eco get out? Or, you know, that's the thing about the storytelling and the ending of this game is they're very ambiguous. You know, there might be a lot of hand-holding in the gameplay, but in terms of the narrative, you kind of have to draw your own conclusions for a lot of the time.
Hand-holding.
Hey. Yeah, I had to ruin it with a dumb joke, as per usual. As is tradition here on GCG.
Also, can we just talk about how those cages just had, like, spiked things around the top? Not quite the chains, but...
Well, it's part of the Queen's theming.
I guess.
She wants to make everyone visiting her castle feel as threatened as possible.
They're like those little spikes that they put on top of buildings to keep pigeons from landing.
They need to stop the sideways pigeons.
Yes.
The anti-pigeon spikes, how could I forget?
Because I imagine it's just like, yeah, these spikes serve literally no purpose, but on the off chance that anyone is hopping along the tops of these cages, they're going to be real imposing.
Yeah.
And I was always, like, kind of scared that touching the spikes would, like, hurt Eco.
Yeah, those, that little platforming bit where you jump in between the cages is one of the places where I usually die when I play this game.
Yeah, you were telling me how you were going for the no death achievement, and you made it through the entire game, and that was where you died your one time.
Yep. The,
It is, like, terrifying, because
It really
all the
is.
jumps are, like, you're used to making jumps where you're, like, gonna grab onto the ledge or whatever, but, like, you don't even make it to the ledge of the cages. You make it to, like, the bottom rung of the side of the cage.
Right. It's just one of those platforming bits in games where you gotta jump from the absolute edge.
Yeah.
In order to even make it to, like, grab onto the platform you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Also, Eco is a strong lad if he's able to pull this box through the water like this.
Not only pulling a box, but also swimming one-armed while doing it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like he could, you know, he could have just got behind it and pushed it along. But no, he's got to do the link stroke. The one-handed, awkward link stroke.
Did they ever explain why he swims that way?
Because he's left-handed? I don't know.
Yes, all left-handed people, when they get in the water, they just
don't know how to swim.
They swim by scooping the water towards their face.
Although now that I think about I think back to my childhood and taking swimming lessons, I'm pretty sure they did teach us a side stroke.
Well, that makes
Whether
sense.
that's what Link is technically doing is up for debate, but, you know.
They didn't have the
there is a
technology to properly animate the side stroke.
They didn't have the technology in ancient Hyrule to teach Link how to swim efficiently. So yeah, we got to do we got to do some puzzle solving and platforming without Yorda, obviously, because we're separated. And in contrast to Resident Evil 4, where it's like a relief every time your AI companion gets kidnapped or separated from you, here it's just like Dread City. Like, you know, even knowing what's going to happen from having played this game before, it's still like, oh god, Yorda, where are you? Like, you just can't shake that feeling, even though you know, like, how it all plays out.
Plus, you're also, like, the rest of the castle is pretty, like, you know, it's pretty well lit. Like, it's not exactly pleasant, but it's, like, it's not this, where now you're in, like, the underground caverns of the castle.
Yeah, it's a lot more, like, mechanical and kind of
where they,
twisted.
like, put prisoners and just, like, all this... I mean, really, you start out in just, like, the most intimidating spot possible. Just, like, free-floating above, just, like, the abyss, on standing on cages.
Go ahead.
This area reminds me quite a bit of that 2D platformer Limbo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's kind of dark, lots of industrial type of stuff you have to work around. Kind of.
Well, it just does a great job of making you feel like this is clearly the low point of this story, and it's just reflected visually, like about as strongly as you could have done it.
God.
Speaking of parts that make you anxious, a lot of the platforming here, you're a little uncertain about like what even you're supposed to do, or if you even can make it from chain to chain, because the jumps required like so much distance.
It's kind of like Portal 2 or something, where like you're used to playing Portal 1, where everything's like kind of clearly made, and or I guess even more accurately, like the beginning of Portal 1 to the end. Where like you start out, everything's kind of clearly laid out, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And now you've just got like, it's not really like a test chamber anymore, everything's just kind of thrown about, like if you were actually just like in the back rooms of some place where you're not supposed to be. And like it feels like you're not following a path anymore, like you just have to kind of figure stuff out on your own now.
There's a lot of leaps of faith in Portal 2, too. Like, there's sometimes where you get shut out of a portal at, like, Mach 2, and you're just like, well, if I die, I die here.
Yep. Although, unfortunately, Eco does not have long fall boots.
Yeah, long fall sandals. And now we're back outside.
Nice.
I know we've quoted him several times, but Matthew Matosis did make a great point about the tone here, where for the majority of the game, the outdoor environments are presented as like a break tonally, like there's sort of refreshing and peaceful, whereas the interior of the castle is more intimidating. But here in the end, they kind of flip it, where it's like when you're outside in the rain along these, you know, these terrifying giant cliffs, you know, you want to get inside.
Yeah, he's getting his tabard wet. You ever smelled a wet tabard?
Isn't it crazy how rain is just universally considered to be like a really dramatic thing?
I mean, it works. It's tried and true.
God, that reminds me.
I wonder if there's like an innate, like instinctual reason for that. Or if it's just because that's what we associate it with.
Like, when we were...
I guess it's kind of, like, dangerous.
Well, it depends on the context, too. Also, that was...
true.
I was flirting with death there.
I saw that.
But, you know, in a certain context, I find rain really relaxing, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, in a dramatic story like this, you know, if they're going to use rain to enhance, like, the tone of a scene or a part of the story, like, you know, chances are it's going to be a dark time.
Speaking of things that revelations that were made when I played the game and like we were playing it together, I think I remember I got to this part and I was running between the pipes like you are right now, and you're like, wait, you can do that? And I was like,
oh yeah.
You're like, I was like so carefully drawing it on the top of the pipes because I thought going between them would kill, like I'd fall through.
Yeah. Oh, I was the one who pointed it out to you. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
You said that Rain...
Or wait, no. I think you thought you would fall through between the pipes when you played, and then I did...
How many ways can we misremember this scenario?
You were saying Rain makes things dramatic, and on the outside, I rewatched the 1999 Godzilla movie, and the last half of that movie is just wet city. Like New York City is just everyone's wet all the time. It's like, does this? What is this?
It's the rainiest movie ever made.
Honestly, yeah.
They had it raining the whole time because they were trying to hide the CGI.
Oof, yeah. What kills me is the practical effects in that movie are really good.
Yeah, like, those Roland Emmerich movies from the 90s, like, when they're doing practical stuff, it's pretty believable, but, unfortunately, that's about the best I can say for it. But,
So I guess
we're not here to talk about Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, we're here to talk about dry ruins.
Yeah. Roland Emmerich directs the Shadow of the Colossus movie.
So, like...
Boy, I can't wait to see that movie with a cast of thousands.
Honestly, like, I would not mind a Shadow of the Colossus or a...
Trey,
no, not from Roland
okay.
Emmerich, but just like a movie about, this story. Oh, dead.
Yeah, oh my god. So many things happened during this episode that were just like... if that's something you guys can relate to, that feeling.
So who should direct the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus movies?
Fumito Ueda.
M. Night Shyamalama.
And M. Night Shyamalama. Sama. Kun.
God. Eco was filmed before a live studio audience.
Welcome to Eco, the abridged series. Please coke away before it's too late. Yeah.
So, I guess you're just, like, trying to figure out a way to get back in the castle.
Yeah. And this room looks kind of familiar. To me.
Wait. Oh, wait,
Probably
is this...
not to you guys.
Is this, like, the room where... Is this, like, below where you first found Yorda?
Close.
This room looks kind of familiar to me. Probably because I've played the game, like, 6 times already.
Yeah, it's that room from the end where you jump off the ladders. Yeah. There's a lot of... During this ending section, there's a lot of, like, can you make it?
That's gonna
See if you can make it through here, Eco.
I don't know if that was intended, but I'm imagining that animation was him catching his breath after he just, like, slammed into that corner and got the wind knocked out of him.
Well, yeah, he's gotta be just, like, broken after all the... I almost said stunt work he's had to do.
That's a Yorda door.
Yeah.
Don't worry, kids. None of this is real. No children were harmed.
We talked about Uncharted earlier.
Video game.
Like, for the record, I do love Uncharted. At least the first 3 games, because those are the ones I played. But that game also has a lot of, like, platforming of jumping and, like, grabbing on ledges and stuff. But, like, it also feels a bit floatier or whatever, like a little bit floatier than reality. Just probably just to make the platforming, like, feel better and be more just, like, easy to work with.
Well, yeah,
here it feels a lot more like you can really feel the weight to everything, and I can't really think of any other games that really make me feel as much as Eco. Just like when you jump and hit a ledge or whatever, just being like, oh, that had to hurt.
Alright, who gave the small child the enchanted rune blade?
Well,
guess what day it is, boys?
It's Energy Sword Sunday!
Oh, no. No, it's Energy Sword Wednesday.
Oh yeah, because this episode comes out on a Wednesday.
But let it be known to the audience that for us, it is in fact Energy Sword Sunday.
Yeah, we recorded this on Energy Sword Sunday.
Yes, deliberately.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah, If you guys noticed when he picked up the sword back there, and he probably didn't, and that's okay, but the music that played when he grabs the sword is the same music that plays the first time he sees Yorda.
Oh. Wait, she's become the sword?
He doesn't have Yorda anymore, but he still needs to get past those gates, so he needs like a different way to do it, and that way is...
Also, for anyone that doesn't recall, that was, at the very beginning of the game, that was the sword that the, like, gatekeeper or whatever used to open the gate to let everyone
the hypocritical horned guys.
Yeah.
That apparently hate horned people.
Yeah, so there's not just, like, a random sword lying about in the dungeon.
Yeah.
I don't know what the backstory to this is, or if there even is a backstory, but, like, I assume they just had this stuff lying around from, like, well before the time of the people that brought Eco in. And they're like, well, this sword that we found, for some reason, opens these doors, so let's use it as a key.
Yeah, I think in Shadow of the Colossus, this is one of the items you can get from completing the hard mode time trials. I think it's just called the Queen's Sword.
Huh.
Oh, so it's like a reference to this sword?
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Anyone remember this room?
Yeah.
Nope.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh, they're shadow kids.
I feel like we should have knocked first.
Are you guys filming something?
Oh god, this scene. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
this game, Are you ready to be sad? Are you all ready to be sad? Because that's what you've signed up for by watching this far. That's just what this game is.
This is dark as heck.
We're too late.
It's especially, like, impactful because there's, like, no music in this game. And then when we finally do get a proper, like, musical track, it's this.
Oh yeah, this song creeps the hell out of me. And this whole section, god, I could...
Yeah.
It's a good thing this is going on for like 6 minutes, because there's really a lot to unpack here. First of all, we've just seen the husk of our poor companion, Yorda, up on that altar, ready for the queen to just, like, get in, you know, like, possess her. And then we've got these guys who, you know, look an awful lot like the guys we've been fighting throughout the game, but also an awful lot like we do. And if you hadn't figured it out, and don't worry, the game gives you plenty of time
to figure it out.
And a bit of this is you know, speculation, but I feel like it's pretty safe to assume that the shadowy creatures we've been fighting throughout the game are the souls of other little boys who were sacrificed and whom the queen has, like, enslaved to do her bidding.
I wonder if the longer they're under her bidding, the more twisted they become.
Well, I mean, it might just come down to, like, what form they choose to take, since they're kind of spectral, but, like, just something about the, like, you know, I'm assuming that these models are rigged to the same, like, skeleton and animations as the, like, the bulkier, like, more monstrous creatures, but it's just really unsettling to see them, like, flying through the air with their arms.
Yeah.
Wait, does do one of those cages light up every time you slay one?
Yeah, if you hadn't figured it out by now, like, every time you kill one of these guys, one of the coffins lights up.
He really likes to play with those kinds of themes in his game.
Yeah.
He really likes to make people sad.
Yeah.
God, this is extra, like, terrible because they're not attacking you. They're just, like, kind of evading you and, like, messing around with you. But like, you have to kill them because, like, that's just what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's not, like, totally clear if they're evil or, like, harmful or anything.
Well, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Because something happens in the next episode that kind of makes you question that. But, like, I really think they're not, like, you know, like, controlled by the queen per se, but, like, they have to do what she says because, you know, I guess they're, like, under her power or whatever. And, you know, this whole game, they've just been trying to, like, do, like, the queen's bidding and, like, make sure that Yorda doesn't get taken away.
Oh, yeah. Well, but, like, normally, if it was just this, like, bit in isolation, like, it'd kind of be... Well, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be just, like, a super obvious move that you have to kill him or whatever, or, like, you wouldn't really feel too terribly compelled, but, like... Because, like, yeah, they do look like other kids, and you kind of feel for them because they also look like you. But, like, I can't speak for everyone, but I know for me, and pardon the incoming language, I come into the room and I see them standing around Yorda, and I'm like, oh no, you don't, you fuckers.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, it's like, as we've said many times, that, you know, just... I think this game, one of the real successes of this game and its storytelling is that it actually utilizes, like, the medium of video games to make you invested in its story and characters, because, you know, you're trying to escape from this castle for the whole time, and you've got this, you know, this girl who's your companion, but it's not like, the story doesn't just, like, tell you that she's important and that you need to, like...
It doesn't tell you that you have to care for her.
You just get
with
invested.
the aforementioned scene, or but the previous scene with the bridge and everything. Like, after that happened with my playthrough, we talked about it for a bit, and we were like, "So, do you have to jump back? Like, can you just keep going?" And you're like, "I don't know. I've never had the heart to try it."
Well, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I would either.
Like I say, you know, they put those statues at the end of the bridge for heartless people.
Yeah.
But,
So I had a dark thought about the kid ghosts, since they only appear in this room. What if they were just, like, instead of, like, trying to hurt her, they were trying to play with somebody one more time before they passed on?
yeah.
That's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were even trying to help her.
Yeah.
We have to wonder, too, like, is Eiko the first kid who's tried to, like, escape from here with
Stop it,
Yorda?
Joe. You're only hurting us.
I know, I'm sorry. Because, you know...
Although I think I tried the same thing.
Because, like I said at an earlier point, what did I say? Crap. This is not a good time for this.
While you're trying to think of that, I just want to say... You mentioned the thing earlier about Resident Evil 4 about, like, being separated from companion being a relief. This is also a similar situation where this whole time you've been relying on Yorda to, like, use her powers to open doors and stuff, and now you finally have, like, an item that lets you do it yourself and, like, also be a really powerful weapon, and it just doesn't feel good. You're like, I don't want this, I want Yorda back.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what you've got until you've lost it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can avenge her in the final episode of our Eco commentary. So tune in. Hopefully see you there.
Bye.